Hello and welcome to a new edition of our program, Women's World. And in this special edition of the program, we will continue our special coverage to the BRICS 17th BRICS Summit, which is currently taking place in Rio de Janeiro with the participation of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli. Dear viewers, short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned. Welcome back, dear viewers. And as we said earlier, that in this special edition of the program, we will talk about the 17th BRICS Summit currently taking place in Brazil with the participation of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli. The summit comes at a time when the world is witnessing complex crises and challenges amid a remarkable degradation in multilateral action and international order efficiency. More details in the coming report.
Presenting the bloc as a defender of multilateral diplomacy, leaders of the BRICS group of developing nations condemned attacks on Iran, Gaza and Kashmir during their summit on Sunday, with forums such as the G7 and G20 groups of major economies hamstrung by divisions and the disruptive America First approach of US President Donald Trump. Expansion of the BRICS has opened new space for diplomatic coordination. In his opening remarks at the meeting in Rio de Janeiro, Brazilian President Lula Inácio Lula da Silva drew a parallel with the Cold War's non-aligned movement. Lula told the leaders that BRICS was the heir to the non-aligned movement, with multilateralism under attack. BRICS nations now represent more than half the world's population and 40% of its economic output. In remarks on Saturday, Lula warned of rising protectionism. The original BRICS group gathered leaders from Brazil, Russia, India and China at its first summit in 2009. The bloc later added South Africa and last year included Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates as members. This is the first summit of leaders to include Indonesia. The BRICS has grown to include regional rivals along with major emerging economies.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and now we are joined over the phone by Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ambassador Sou'ad. So as we are talking about the 17th summit of BRICS, which is currently taking place in Rio de Janeiro, how do you see the significance of Egypt's participation in this summit?
As you know, this is the 17th BRICS summit, and Egypt has has joined in 2024. So this is Egypt's first time participating as a full member. Before that, Egypt was observing. So now Egypt has become a full member of BRICS and has joined this summit, which is held in Rio de Janeiro yesterday and today. The theme of this summit is enhancing South-South cooperation for inclusive and sustainable governance. And that is why Egypt thinks this is this summit is going to strengthen the cooperation and the coordination among the member states of BRICS.
So, Ambassador Sou'ad, what was the main message delivered by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli during the summit?
Yes, as you know, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli was attending on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi this summit, and he has delivered a speech. He has participated in the opening session, and he also participated in a number of sessions in bilateral meetings and with several heads of states and governments. He also relayed Egypt's, he highlighted Egypt's important regional crisis, which is the Israeli war on Gaza, which is taking place for the past 2 years. And he stated that the war had resulted in the death of 55,000 Palestinian civilians, women and children, and additionally 125,000 wounded. So he said, he pointed out in his speech that there has to be a cessation of hostilities, and there has to be respect to the international and the humanitarian law, and to stop the violations against the Palestinian people in the West Bank and East Jerusalem.
So also, if we talk about the Prime Minister address to the session on boosting multilateralism, economic and financial affairs, and artificial intelligence, the head of the government said that developing countries are suffering rising debt servicing burdens, inflation, difficulty in access to easy financing for their infrastructure projects. How do you read his statement?
Yes, of course, Egypt has declared its cooperation and coordination with the group's agenda, and also the priorities that have been highlighted by Madbouli has been set to accelerate the joint cooperation through projects in energy, manufacturing, infrastructure, and emerging technology, as you said, like artificial intelligence. And this, of course, will strengthen the economic, financial, and monetary cooperation between Egypt and the members of BRICS. Of course, the central bank representatives and business people who are meeting there are very, and of course the Minister of Finance is also attending in order to make progress on financial settlements in local currencies.
So also, Ambassador Sou'ad, how can Egypt benefit from its membership with BRICS countries and its cooperation with them?
Well, this is what also Prime Minister Madbouli mentioned, that BRICS must work effectively to improve the international debt mechanism, because this will benefit all the developing countries, and to support the reform of the global financial system, which also all the developing nations' needs and priorities are highlighted in this in the BRICS summit. They want all the developing countries, they want concessional financing and technology transfer from the developed countries to the developing countries. in order to achieve sustainable development and eradicate poverty.
So, Ambassador Sou'ad, also the group warned against the rise in tariffs that threaten the global trade, continuing its criticism of U.S. President Trump's policies or tariff policies in particular. How do you read this statement?
Yes, of course, this is a very aggressive attitude towards the BRICS summit, when President Trump declared that he is going to apply the tariff and raise the tariffs for the countries members of BRICS. And it is not only the countries members of BRICS, it is this declaration of Trump has been to all countries in the world, like even Canada, even Latin America, even Africa. So he has raised the tariffs because he wants America to, he wants United States to benefit from all the imports, all the exports of the United States, and he doesn't want to import any products from any other country. That is why he raised the tariffs on all countries, even the developing countries.
Yes, Ambassador Sou'ad, also Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli called for boosting cooperation among the central banks in the BRICS group and for enabling financial settlements in local currencies, reiterating Egypt's full commitment to joint cooperation among member states in achieving joint objectives. How do you read this?
Yes, of course, this is a far a dream that all these countries are looking after. Of course, to have a currency that can fight the dollar is very difficult. Even the euro could not. Only 20% of the world's trade is done in euro currency, but the dollar is dominating, and with Trump it will dominate more. So it is like a strategy that will take time until it is possible. But it needs, of course, all the central banks to get together, of the members of BRICS to get together and to take a decision that it's going to be a little bit difficult to fight the dollar at this point in time. Like maybe in the future it could happen, but for the time being, I think it is going to be very difficult. But anyway, let us hope for the best.
So, Ambassador Sou'ad, one final question. If we focus on the theme of the summit this year, which is enhancing South-to-South cooperation for inclusive and sustainable governance, how do you read this theme?
This is, of course, for the benefit of developing countries. As you know, that Africa, Asia, and Latin America have many countries who are suffering from poverty, suffering from debt management, and they need a reform to their financial system. That they need to increase their cooperation in order to meet the manufacturing and the infrastructure and the energy and the technology, the emerging technology that is developed now in the West. That is why it is the theme is focusing on the South-South cooperation. Those countries who are more developed than others are to help and try to be inclusive in helping and in developing the other countries who are unable to reach that level of technology. So it's mainly cooperation in the field of technology, in the field of in the field of infrastructure, in order to develop and reach sustainable governance and sustainable development.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you, Ambassador Sou'ad, for being with us. The viewers, short break and we'll be back, so stay tuned. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's special edition of our program, Women's World. Thank you for watching.